If you ain't ready to get hit,
Well, allow me to drop some knowledge.
We have to disagree. I saw that Sailor Moon outfit.
What's going on, my BMF army? It's your favorite Jedi, the BMF goddess. Here today, I have the honor of welcoming to the BMF stage, Matt Vertigo. Thanks for being here. I
Yo,
appreciate your time. Um, so how are you? And I just want a little background of you and uh, where you grew up. You know, how was it for you growing up, and how you uh got attracted to wrestling. Like for
mm.
me, I started watching it when I was very young. Go for it.
Oh yeah. Wrestling has been a part of our life for quite some time. Um, Unlike other people, well, first let me start off. I'm from Queens, New York.
Okay.
And I
Spidey.
first what happened?
I said Spider-Man City. I mean, well,
Yup,
his
yup. Facts, yeah. Queens, New York, you already know what's up, repping. Yeah, and when it came to wrestling, I got into it at a very late stage that most people like some people get into it, when they're like, 4, 5.
Right.
Like there are people that are into it from childhood, like kids. I am a late bloomer when it comes to wrestling. The very first wrestling match I ever saw was the very first Elimination Chamber.
Oh wow.
And
What year was
that
that? I'm
I
terrible.
think that had been like 2004, 2003.
How old
Or
were you?
2002. At that time, I was like 12.
2002.
Yeah,
2002.
2002. That's why I was like 2002. That time, yeah, I was born in 91. So at that time, I was 11 or just turning 12. And I wasn't really prepared for that show, for that match.
How did that happen though? Like you just came across it flipping channels or somebody you knew
No.
watching it?
One of my friends in at school was having a birthday party, and it was wrestling themed. And originally, I wasn't allowed to go, but then he like convinced, and like their parents convinced my parents, like, oh no, let him come. We're gonna be watching a pay-per-view. Oh, cool, cool. So they let me go. And yeah, I had a blast. The wrestling, I found out wrestling was like really fun. The only time I ever really like knew wrestling was like my cousin had I think it was WCW versus NWO on Nintendo 64. I used to play that. So that was my only real like that's the only wrestling I knew was that game. And then there was the Elimination Chamber.
Oh
So
wow. Okay.
so that was pretty cool. Yeah. So I became a wrestling fan from there. Watching like Edge, Jeff Hardy, that like ruthless aggression era of SmackDown. That's what made me a fan. And I was religiously watching SmackDown at that point, religiously watching wrestling at that point. And I'm not gonna lie, very, very lucky that when I got in high school, I started backyard wrestling with some friends, and one of my classmates uh saw one of my videos online, and he was just like, why don't you just become a pro wrestler? And I was like, I don't know, I've never really thought about it.
You
And
were
then he said,
backyarding?
well, yeah, I was doing backyard for fun. And yeah, I was just, I wanted to wrestle. I didn't really care. I wasn't thinking about professional wrestling. I wasn't thinking about pro rings. I wasn't thinking about like a career. I was just like, me and my friends want to roll around in the dirt, roll around on some mats, like just kids having fun. And then yeah, my friend was like, you should come to my wrestling school and like watch my show. Like he was a student, and it ended up being World of Unpredictable Wrestling with Johnny Rods, and that's
Oh
where
wow.
It all started there. That's when I started to understand like wrestling more. That's when I started to see like training and what it takes. And then I made my way to the one place that I thought I wanted to be. Well, no, it's not that I thought I wanted to be. I wanted to be there. I watched religiously forever, and I said, okay, I need to make my way to the city because I have to go watch 2KW live.
Oh wow. Okay.
I have to watch
They
2KW
still
live
they still go viral to this day. It's crazy.
to this day, and
They had to
that
be like
solidified it.
the best backyard
Ever. It
go
really
viral.
was. They were so good. It felt like I was watching TV in front of my face in a park. Like I was so mesmerized. And from that point on,
Wait, so
that's when
your
I said,
friend was a part of no. How did you make it to 2KW? How did you find out about that?
um, because I was always like watching, because like I said, I was backyarding myself for fun. So I was always watching like backyard wrestling on YouTube.
YouTube. Yeah. Okay.
And it just kind of popped up one day. I was like, "What are these guys doing?" And then I was like, "Oh my goodness, in a park!" And yeah, it just turned into a whole fascination to where now I'm like, I know where they're at.
Yeah.
I gotta go, and yeah, it took over from there. 2KW pretty much like is what made me realize like I like wrestling in a park or with 50 people, but I love wrestling for real, like being a pro wrestler now. And I took the next leap from there.
How did your family feel about it?
Oh, they hate they really didn't like it at first. Especially since, it wasn't like I was taking oh, hey mom, here's this school. I want to show you. I want to become a
Yeah.
wrestler. It was like, hey, I'm wrestling in a park. You want to come watch
Right.
it? Yeah, they were
So
not happy
they
about it
don't
at
tend
first.
to take it as serious at first.
Yeah, they were not happy at first, but when I started to, really take it seriously, I'm paying for schools. I'm trying to get gear. I'm trying to get on the road. I'm getting in cars and taking the drives. So when I started to really think of this as a profession,
Mhm.
that's when they started to understand and they became very supportive. They're very supportive now.
Good. That's awesome. Who did you train under?
So my very first trainers were like the 2KW guys. Like I learned a lot about like the basic things, bumping, running ropes, blah blah blah. But I started to really understand wrestling when I started training with Mike Morgan at Ace. Um, he had Jay Lethal come a bunch of times, and Jay Lethal was very, very important when it came to me understanding, where I stand in wrestling business. And then, honestly, from there, it went to, and a lot of 2KW guys also went here. It went to the Maximos and Ludus. That's where I really understood, you know, who I am as a wrestler and what I can do and different styles. And that's when I started to branch out and really understand different things. And then I moved to Ohio and I started wrestling out there. And that's when you understand a whole different, like New York is, oh my goodness, Ohio's a whole different way of working. So
Big
so
territory. Yeah.
yeah, it's a completely different territory. And I didn't realize that. I didn't know like, oh, wrestling down here, like you can't really hit somebody hard and they're gonna like it. Like I had to, yeah, I had to completely change my entire style. I had to go from, up in New York where it's like, beating each other up for the love of the game. Down there, it's like, scoop slam, hey, they go crazy. Leg drop, hey, they want characters, they want fun, they want difference. Of in New York, they want blood. So that's
Yeah.
I had to learn a whole different style, but it was great. That was very important. And that's why I always suggest to like students or young guys that are trying to get into wrestling, like don't just stay in your state. because you're not going to understand enough about this business if you just stay in your state or stay in where you're comfortable. You got to go to different places. You got to go to different country. You got to go to a different state. You got to go to a whole different territory and learn. Then you're going to really understand. And yeah, I love
That's
wrestling, man.
great. That's great advice. I mean, if you're really passionate about something, like I'm the same way. Things I'm passionate about, I want to know everything about. It can only
Facts.
help perform better.
Facts. Like think about chefs. I like to compare wrestling a lot to food. But think about chefs. You know, the greatest chefs in the world didn't just learn in France and they just stayed in France and cooked in France. They had to go to Ethiopia and learn, and then they took a trip over to Italy and learned, and then they took a trip to the United States, and then they went to Florida, and then they went to Canada, and then they brought all these, and then they went to Asia and India, and they brought all these styles into their restaurants, and now they're branching. Now they have 3 Michelin stars. Now they couldn't get it just staying in France.
Right.
So I like to
Absolutely.
compare that to wrestling. You gotta travel.
You're the first wrestler out of all the wrestlers I've interviewed to mention that. So thank you for that. Um,
Yeah.
I like, for the audience and, other people who want to go into the business have something to know that is essential for that. So during your training days, what would you say were your biggest struggles?
Biggest struggles during training, honestly, was just fighting through. Training is tough. A lot of people don't realize how hard wrestling training is, and how grueling it is, and how difficult. It's not just. And the thing is that honestly, the training itself in ring is tough, but I feel like the toughest part is executing like your characters, learning lines, learning marketing, learning like that's the real hard stuff. Because anyone could, in my opinion, I feel like anybody that has a tough mindset can join training, get in the ring, get beat up, go home, ice, come back the next day. Like I feel like there's a lot of people that could do that, but the hard part about wrestling, I said, is the grind, the traveling, the constant thinking of new ideas. You can't use the same ideas. The constant building of, you're trying to figure out your promos, your stories, your characters, your pushing, your marketing. There's a whole bunch of other things involved that people just don't see, and I think that's the hardest part. But training, um, honestly, I didn't really hate training. I love it. So I'll just go with cardio. Like the constant rolls, constant running, constant jumping, constant. It's tough, but I love it. So that's not a
Yeah,
problem. Yeah, I'll train
put
all
it on
day.
the-
I train all day.
There's something that I ask all the talent that I interview, and it's just because I'm curious. If
Mhm.
you were to get like, first of all, how long in total are you wrestling now? How many
Um,
years?
this is this is going to be year 11. I did take a few years of a break because I wasn't really sure of how serious I was, and then I got serious, and yeah. So right now I'm on year 11, and I'm excited for
Do
year 15,
you
year
feel
20.
like you're still evolving, or do you feel like you're cemented in what it is that you want to be?
No, I feel like I'm still evolving, and I feel like that's something that wrestlers can't stop doing. I feel like the second that you are comfortable in what you're doing, then your shelf life is going to be short because wrestling evolves. Your character has to evolve, fans evolve, so you have to rise. You have to go in the direction that wrestling is going. So
Yeah,
no, I never really think that I can't evolve more than where I am, or have a character change, or have the person like. No, I could always get better, and every wrestler could always get better.
I respect that. So if you did get a call from a mainstream company, um, who would you want it to be and why?
um, yeah, I love answering this question. A lot of people, are gonna assume like it's like Trips. You know, I want that call from Hunter, and I do. Like, who doesn't? Like, what wrestler wouldn't want to answer the phone and it's Hunter on the other line? Like, oh snap! Like that's gonna change your mind, your life. So, but my dream is to become a mainstay in Japan as someone from New York who is just hard hitting. Like, I just respect the the stiffness and the realism and the strikes, the kicks, the hits. I could take that type of stuff and give it back. I love that type of stuff. So Japan, I feel like, is the place for me. If New Japan came calling, I'd be gone in a heartbeat. Pack up, let's go. AEW as well, because that's a route to New Japan too. So Tony Khan came calling, and I got an opportunity to go to Japan under an AEW umbrella, 100%. But I will say this about WWE. I would love to get a call from Sean. I believe going to NXT is huge. Even if you don't make it to the main roster, going
Right.
to NXT is huge. You're
Bless.
learning from literally some of the greatest minds in pro wrestling. You're in the biggest company in pro wrestling. And that's just, not only is that gonna make you a better wrestler, but it's gonna up your market as well. Like it's a win-win regardless. I always say that you should always go to NXT.
Yeah. I love NXT. Honestly, sometimes a lot of the time it's more entertaining than Raw or SmackDown. It's always
Sometimes,
been how
yeah. Sometimes, yeah.
some of the best people have come through those doors. I could scream when you said Japan because I love Japan, New Japan
I
wrestling.
love it so
Everything
much.
you said, it's even the crowd is different.
I love
It's
that.
a discipline and respect that you don't get here, and
Yes.
it's no you don't see no baby powder hits here. Over there, it's a sports. It's more sports like than as
Yes.
opposed to entertainment, and I
Bingo.
love I love that factor as well.
Yeah, I love it. If I can have those style of matches all the time, which sadly I cannot. This is the United States. Things are a little bit different. Depending on the promotion that you're in, will depend on sometimes the style that you might have to alter that for this promotion in this location, and then up it for this location. So there's differences, but I feel like once if you get to Japan, if I get to Japan, it's gonna be straight fights. It's gonna be. This is not just wrestling; it's fights. Like, and I had two professional fights. MMA fights. So I like fighting too. So I just love that. I love the hard
That's
hitting.
dope. I
And
didn't know that.
yeah, I
I'm a,
love the hard hitting.
it's wrestling for me, and then it's MMA. I'm a big MMA fan.
Nice. I like MMA too. I won't say I'm a huge fan just because like I don't have like favorites. Like I don't have like favorite fighters. I just like fighting. I just like
Right.
watching UFC. Like whoever's fighting, I'm interested. Okay. So it doesn't matter to me. I don't have a super favorite. I like Adesanya, but other than that, I don't really have a favorite. I like a bunch of guys and
What
girls.
has been your proudest moment so far?
My proudest moment, I don't really. I'm pretty humble. I don't really try to connect myself too emotionally to the a wrestling moment. Um, but if I could say my proudest moment, it was realistically. It was my last match in Ohio, right before I moved. So when I moved to Ohio, I was going to college out there. And I originally left all my gear at home. I said, I'm going to focus on school. I'm not going to focus on wrestling at all. And somehow wrestling will find me. And there was wrestling at my campus. Great. So I show up and I just like touch the ropes. Like I just hold on to the ropes. And the owner looked at me and was like, "You wrestle?" And at first, I'm like, no, no, no. And he's like, we need a guy. Do you wrestle? You look like you wrestle. And I said, All right, what's the plan tonight? What do you need? I go to school here, but I don't have any gear, but what do you want? And he basically said, look, we need a guy to just like get attacked, whatever, whatever. I said, okay. I was skinnier. I didn't have the muscles yet. I wasn't super focused on wrestling yet. So I said, okay, no problem. I get beat up. I had so much fun because I barely got hit because it was Ohio. It wasn't New York where it's like, okay, when you're gonna get beat up, we're really going, get ready. I was getting like, worker kicked and worker punched, and I'm like, oh, this is fun. The crowd's having a good time. I had a wonderful time, and when the very next show, I became like, I actually had my gear ordered. I said, ship my gear to Ohio. I know I wasn't wrestling, but ship the gear. And I became a full part of their roster. And at first, I wasn't very liked. It's sometimes difficult in the middle of nowhere of Ohio for sadly like a black person to get over, like especially as a face.
Yeah.
So it took a little bit of time, but when I had my last match when I graduated and I was moving back to New York, I've never seen a room of people cry so much because they would miss me so much.
No.
So not
That's
winning a
tough.
title, not winning a match, not having a big 5-star televised something. No, it was just a room of people that originally did not like me.
Yeah.
2 years later, we're all standing ovation and crying for the fact that I was going to be leaving. I
That is
lost
an
my career.
amazing proud moment.
I that moment it still sticks with me and makes me emotional because, like I said, it's tough to get over out there,
Yeah.
and I was able to do it, and a lot of emotion. It was a very emotional night. It was great.
Do you still keep in touch with them over there?
I do. That specific promotion doesn't run anymore. But I do still talk to. There's still wrestlers in Ohio
Yeah.
that I still talk to, and I'm definitely gonna make a comeback there one day, hopefully soon. And but yeah, that still is gonna stick with me forever.
That's awesome. What are your thoughts on the indie scene out here in New York
I,
and New Jersey?
I think the indie scene is great. We have a lot of young, talented guys that are very passionate about the business right now that are just putting themselves on the line. Um, when it comes to New York, I do feel like I wish that there was more wrestling. Like New Jersey is an absolute madhouse, right? It's like the New York, it's very kind of exclusive. And in New
Yeah.
Jersey, it's just like, okay, anybody could do whatever they want. So there's no exclusive. We could have 40 shows running on the same night.
Right.
While in New York, it's like, okay, one or two shows maybe you're running tonight. So I do wish that there was more opportunities in New York for guys. Um, I know the athletic commission has a lot to do with that. I know there's like little things, like a lot of little things that have a lot to do with that. Match types that we can do, blah blah blah. You could go New Jersey and just bleed. You can't do that here. There's a lot of rules and regulations
Right.
in New York. But I do wish that there was more, like like a new venue that might open up. Like I know a lot of people go to Queens. Like there's a lot
Yeah.
of I forgot what the building is called, but it's like on Queens Boulevard. I think you know exactly what I'm talking about.
You're not talking
Oh,
about. You're not talking
th- th-
about. Right?
no, there's Hog, but there's another building. There's a bunch of red chairs, and it's like I'm trying to remember, but it's on Queens Boulevard, and it's like those are like the only two, like, and then the Bronx BFW. Like, those are
Yeah.
like those are the only two, three that like consistently like you can go to. There's not like a lot of other buildings that I feel
Yeah.
like you can go to unless you branch out to Long Island, but. I like the scene right now. It's getting crazier every year. And it's getting more competitive every year,
A
which is a
lot of
fact.
yeah. A lot of good
A lot of
talent.
a lot of wrestlers.
My bad.
Nah, you good.
What are some of your aspirations for your career?
At this point right now,
What do you want to be remembered for?
mm, honestly, I would love at this point. I would love to become like a trainer. I would love to learn enough to become a trainer in the future, um, and a producer. I always thought that like I loved wrestling, but I really love the production of wrestling. So
Mhm.
I do think my future is probably going to be in production,
Yeah,
whether that be stage production or talking about who what matches are going forward, storylines, blah blah. I do believe that that is where my heart will be in the future. But while I can still continue to do this, I think like I said, I think my biggest goal is Tokyo Dome. I it's
you
something
could
to
do it. I want to see you.
Ah, to just to even not even not even a big match, just to perform in the Tokyo Dome. That
Yeah,
or my hometown. The closest arena to me is a UBS,
yeah,
so that would be the other one. Like performing in UBS, performing in Tokyo Dome. I think I would. All right, I could be a producer now. I hit my goals. I did. No, but I can always keep going. There's more goals. That's one thing about me. Once you reach a goal, you set another one. You keep going.
right. What will your dream match be, and who would you want it to be with?
Dream match. This is gonna sound kind of murky, but I don't care. I don't care. I got my guy, my favorite wrestler back here, Roman.
Oh
Uh,
shit!
yeah, like I said,
The
like I know WWE's not the goal,
legend of
but
Tribal Chief.
yeah, there's only one. I've been a fan of Roman since FCW days. I like a lot of people. I used to be made fun of when I was younger. I was at the Rumble when Roman won and got booed. I was bugging out. I had trash thrown at me. I was I was turning around, yelling at people like, yeah, yeah. Like I was one of those. Like I've been a Roman fan since the beginning. Before the Shield, when he showed up on Raw, and when he showed up at the pay per view, I was Roman. Like I was already like tweaking, even though people didn't even know who they were at that point in time. I was already like, it's Tyler Black and Moxley. Like I was tweaking out because I loved indie wrestling. So yeah, but yeah, Roman would be definitely my dream. Um,
Roman
but
is
I don't know that's a tough dream. That's gonna be a tough one to accomplish. Outside of that, if I could keep it a little bit more realistic, um, another like unorthodox. Well, nah, I won't say it's unorthodox because Swerve Strickland.
that's a
I think
good one.
me and Swerve Strickland can throw down.
He's a, he's dope. I think that Roman is a very good example of if you stay consistent. Because I was one of the people who could not stand him. I'm not the type of female that, I'm a wrestling fan for whoever's the cutest. I don't care about that.
I
Can
like
you
that.
can you get me into your story? Can you make me feel something? And for years, I called him Roman Lames, and he earned my respect, and I respect the shit out of him now. I actually enjoy him. So for those people out there who are feeling like, oh, I can't get them on my side, you can.
You can. You definitely can. It took a while, but like you said, if you stay consistent and you work hard and you believe in what you're doing and saying, then eventually they will believe in what you're doing and saying. And once you get them,
Right. Do
it's a wrap from there.
you think wrestling is worth the risk involved? What does pro wrestling mean to you as a whole?
Everything. And yes, I risked. Like I had 3 matches yesterday. Like
Oh
yes,
my God.
it is worth it is worth everything. I give my life to this sport. There's not a day that goes by where there's not something wrestling related in that day. You know, I have dreams of wrestling. I go to sleep. I go to sleep watching pay. I love wrestling so much that I will go to a live show, watch the live show, go home and watch the pay per view right as soon as I get home. Like I gotta watch the live broadcast now. I was in the arena. Nah, I did that with SummerSlam. I went to SummerSlam night one, got home, watched SummerSlam night one immediately as soon as I got home. Like that's how serious like wrestling is.
I
And I
think I
have
was
to
an
rewatch.
indie show that night too, and then I went. I was like, I gotta get home. I want to watch the pay-per-view. So I feel you on that.
Facts. And I
So
studied. I watched Crown Jewel twice already. I might watch it the third time.
it was good. I
It
enjoyed
was
it.
good. Hmm.
Um, I had heard of you. I had seen some of your stuff around prior, but I seen you in person perform,
Hmm.
and uh, when you got together with Dash and D, which is another independent wrestler, which I greatly respect and adore. He's awesome, and you guys together it's just cohesive. It's magic.
So good.
I enjoy you guys together. How did that come about?
I'm gonna be honest. It was
And I
very
love Sherry
random.
Leah. Have to mention her. She's amazing as well.
Yeah, I love Leah and Dash. They're such wonderful people. They're such supportive people, and every day, like even though we haven't performed in a little while, every day we're in a group chat talking about how to get better, what to do better, where to go from here, how to promote more, how to like. We're always thinking of ideas and goals. So I love that group.
That's the best
Um,
kind of,
yeah, I
friends.
love the climax. There's wonderful people, and Dash is he's just a wonderful guy in general. But yeah, it was very random. It just happened that TJ Marconi really just wanted something outside of just regular, like the regular wrestling show that was going on. He wanted something funny and entertaining, and he
Right.
just thought that Dash just like hanging out around my matches, blowing kisses at me would be pure entertainment, and me just flipping out would be pure entertainment. He was thinking along the lines of like Booker T Goldust type of entertainment. You know, so we did it up where he was just following me around, and I was telling him, "You better leave me alone, boy." Like different thing. Like it just turned into a thing where at one point, he in the middle of a match kissed me on my forehead, and I punched him and I knocked him out and I left the match. And, and then all of a sudden, the very next match, Leah comes out, and now I'm intrigued. So now it's like Dash because he said that he has a new partner. So I'm thinking that this new partner is going to be another guy. So when it's a girl, it's like Dash. I didn't know that. Wait, wait, and that so that now it's like the chemistry. Not understand where you're coming from, Dash, but you still freaky. I'm not with it, but I can see your vision. It's fun.
Work.
I love working with them, and I'm looking forward to the next time that wherever we debut next, or when we get to defend these Project Codename Tag Team titles
Yeah, I was
next.
just gonna say you guys are the champs right now.
Yes, we are. We won at that joint
Yep.
NWA show.
Yeah,
Hopefully we get to work with them again. Working with NWA was great, great opportunity. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the next chapter with the climax for sure.
it was a dope show.
Yeah, it was dope.
What do you think separates you from other wrestlers?
A lot of wrestlers have like, passion, drive, stuff like that, stuff that, they all say like, similar things. For me, I feel like compassion. I have a lot of compassion for people, and sometimes that's lost in the sport, understanding each other. Um, but I'm glad that we're in a time now where there's more of that. Like
Yeah.
especially in TV, you hear it all the time that it's better in the locker room. Things are not as toxic. So they're worrying about mental health a lot more. Um, and I feel like that's something that I also continue to bring to locker rooms and paying attention to that type of stuff. We all need to. It's a team effort.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's lost,
That's
and I'm glad that I could be in a locker room that can we can bring that back.
that's great. I am just a fan. I do what I do because, I grew up going to independent shows and
Mhm.
seeing that they weren't uh as respected as I felt like they should be. And that's why I interview you guys because I want you guys to be seen on a greater spectrum than just, oh, that's the B level, because really it's not. You guys, really just as much as mainstream or televised promotion, you guys put your bodies and your lives on the line just to entertain us, to especially people like you who actually have passion, because I have once or twice interview wrestlers that were like, well, I'm not really passionate about it. It's just, I like to wrestle. And in my head, I'm like, well, I don't know why we're here, because
Mhm.
I only want people like you, because I feel that passionate about it as a sport as well.
Exactly. When
You
you
guys
get around
to have the same respect.
Yeah, when you get around people that understand that, like I could feel that from you. You didn't even need to tell me that you were passionate. I could tell or instantly that, you're passionate about wrestling and you love this. Especially when I just mentioned Japan. I didn't even have to mention the promotion. Just saying Japan, big smile. Love that. So definitely on the same wavelength there.
It's different than yesteryear when WWE was pretty much, that's where it's at. Now there's so many promotions and there's so much good wrestling. Like, it's hard for me to even keep up with, but not a bad problem.
Yeah, there's wrestling every day. It's insane. When I was a fan, and I wasn't even really watching Raw because Raw wasn't really what I was after. When I first started wrestling, I said it was all about ruthless aggression. SmackDown, where like crazy wrestling was happening. 2003 SmackDown was insane. Every
Yeah.
night we were getting some of the like basically like indie wrestling on TV. Like it was crazy. Guys that you don't hear the name like Jamie Noble versus like Tajiri. Some of those matches were insane. Like
Yeah.
insane. So Raw wasn't really my vibe. It was very more of the sports entertainment aspect at
Yeah.
that time. And then SmackDown was just balls to the wall, Kurt Angle going crazy on kids, and JBL running around. Like it was just absolutely insane time for wrestling for me. So yeah, I just uh, I love this, and I know you do too.
I feel like it takes a few skills to be a great all-around wrestler, such as, in-ring ability, mic skills, you know, um, charisma, believability. Knowing the psychology of wrestling definitely does help. Um, how do you feel? I know you say you always evolve and you always want to learn more, but how do you feel you rate with that? Are you where you want to be in those categories, or you feel like
I
you
would
want to be
say
better?
I would say no. I always want better. I always believe that, like I said, once you think that you're, the guy, that's when it all goes downhill. Um,
That's a good point.
yeah, I always believe that I could do better. I could learn more. I could gain more, insight. I could be criticized more.
So
I
stay
can,
humble. In other words,
yeah,
right?
very much so. Oh, I feel like that is one thing that you need in this business is you need to be able to be humble and just take and listen to everything that's given and take in everything that's given. Now everything that you hear is going to be the same. One trainer might tell you, oh, do it this way, and another trainer might tell you do it that way. It's up to you to. You still need to listen.
Yeah.
So and learn. Like, I don't do everything every trainer has told me, but I could say that there's a little bit of some trainer in every little thing that I do. Um, and even now, I have been wrestling 11 years, and I'm still looking out for criticism. I send my tapes to whoever will watch them. I even sent a tape to Gabe Kidd like a few weeks ago. Hey, can you watch this and tell me how this is? I sent a tape to Ricardo Rodriguez. Hey, can you watch this? Tell me how this is. So I'm always looking for ways to be criticized and learn and do better. Always.
Well, I don't have any more questions, but I want to say that I'm glad that you did this because I like you even more now. I respect you on a whole nother level, and this is the type of energy and you know wisdom that I want to put out there. So thank you for being here again, and hopefully in the future we can link back up.
Oh, definitely. Let's do this again. I know you can come up with some more questions. Let's go round two.
Definitely want to catch up with you in the future. So thank you again, and
Of course.
I'll put your information on this video, guys. You already know. Follow him, support good indie wrestling, and
Let's go.
have a good one, guys. May the force be with you. Later.
You're